Tyson.
Out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, the international superstar fighting out of Dorado, Puerto Rico, by way of Cleveland, Ohio.
Music H out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, the international superstar fighting out of Dorado, by way of Cleveland, Ohio. What do you expect in terms of I know I am on the basketball court in my early days. I could play like five. Man, this fight was something else. Who would have thought we'd see Mike Tyson back in the ring at 58 squaring off against Jake Paul? Of all people, I've got to say Tyson did not disappoint. The legend still moves with that raw power and precision that made him a household name. It felt like time hadn't touched him. One corner, we had Jake Paul coming in hot like he always does, trying to prove to the world he can hang with the best. He's been making a real name for himself in boxing. 9 wins out of 10 fights and 6 by knockout. Not bad for a guy who started out as a YouTuber, right? His only loss was to Tommy Fury, but facing Tyson, that's a whole different ball game. Even though he lost that one, this might just be his redeeming fight for the winner. I loved how Tyson saw this fight as a full circle moment. It's true, Jake Paul fought on his undercard when he fought Roy Jones Jr., so there's some history there, and now standing toe-to-toe with the man who's been retired since 2005. Wild, since the first time he fought on my well, I started him off. Okay, I started Jake off. What do you mean you start them off? Cause I let him fight. I let him fight on my undercard 4 years ago. Before we dive into what went down in the ring, let's talk about the build-up and some of the predictions leading up to this crazy matchup. Floyd Mayweather didn't mince words when asked who he thought would win. He straight up said, "If you're asking me, there's only one outcome. I see Mike Tyson, even at 58, is still a beast. He's got the experience, the power, and the fight IQ that Jake Paul can't match, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Tyson's been through it all. And you don't just lose that fight since you know." But then you've got Joe Rogan, who was a bit more torn. On one hand, he's got mad respect for Tyson and knows that the dude still packs a punch that could send anyone into another dimension. He even joked about it on his podcast with Russell Crowe, saying 58-year-old Mike Tyson is not your average 58-year-old Mike from down the street. But he also pointed out the obvious: Tyson is 58 and age catches up no matter how much of a legend you are. He doesn't. I'll tell you what, the one thing he doesn't want to do is fight Mike. No, he wants to fight Mike. I think why, I don't know. I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike's in good shape too. Oh my god, Mike trains every day. Rogan brought up a good point though. Jake Paul isn't a joke anymore. He's fought real opponents, former UFC champs like Tyron Woodley, and even recently got a solid win over bare knuckle fighter Mike Perry. So despite all the trash talk, Paul's got skills. Rogan summed it up by saying this fight really comes down to whether Tyson can land that one big blow on the younger, quicker Jake. Always tell people, why just forget that Jake Paul is a YouTube guy and watch him box. Yeah, kid can fight 100%. In that Tommy Fury fight really showed that. Speaking of trash talk, the press conference on May 17th was heated. Jake Paul didn't hold back, telling the world, "I'm going to knock this old man the FK out." Bold move, right? Tyson didn't flinch though, clapping back with, "I'm going to FK Jake up. How am I going to lose if he couldn't even beat Tommy Fury?" Tyson might be 58, but he wasn't about to let some kid disrespect him like that. What do you say to that? I don't know if he's in his prime. He's fat. He should been lean and mean. He's fat and funky. Applause. Music. I saw him with his shirt off over that. He's fat despite the insane 31-year age gap, the biggest in pro boxing history. Tyson didn't seem fazed at all. He brushed off anyone saying the fight was just a gimmick, and even though Jake Paul's been on fire with back-to-back first-round knockouts, Tyson came into this bout looking like he had something to prove. All the talk, all the hype, it was building to one explosive showdown. Jake Paul should be able to wear Tyson out, especially if he plays it smart and stays defensive early on. I mean, Tyson's 58 endurance is definitely going to be his biggest challenge, but let's be real, the guy still punches like a truck. If Tyson's going to stand a chance, he needs to come out swinging and land a couple of big shots right from the start. Expecting him to last 12 full rounds at that age, that's asking a lot even for someone as legendary as Mike, but man's been training like an animal, so I doubt endurance would be an issue. Day 2, we getting ready for you two now. Let's not forget the whole delay situation. Originally, this fight was supposed to go down on July 20th, but it got pushed back after Tyson had a health scare, some kind of ulcer flare-up that sent him to the ER that had a lot of people worried, myself included. Thankfully, Tyson says he's back to 100% now, and they've rescheduled the fight for November 15th. Still, with everything that's happened, you can't help but wonder if the health stuff might catch up to him in the ring. There's definitely some concern about Tyson's safety. I mean, this isn't just an exhibition, it's a full-on professional fight. No headgear, 14-0 gloves, it's the real deal. Some fans are nervous about what that means for a guy Tyson's age, especially with the risk of brain injuries. He's even been using psychedelics to improve his quality of life, which is wild to think about. But this fight, it's his first professional bout in almost 2 decades. No matter how great he looks in training, there's always that looming risk. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's been active. He even fought Mike Perry in the bare-knuckle scene after the original fight was postponed. That definitely gives him an edge. In terms of recent experience, he's younger, faster, and has been consistently fighting while Tyson's been dealing with health issues. That doesn't change the fact that Tyson's power could still turn the fight around in a second, but it's clear Paul's coming into this fight prepared. August, I'm back, baby. Let's talk about their previous fights and see what we can take away from that. Starting off with Mike Tyson. Tyson's last fight was back in 2020 against Roy Jones Jr., and it was more of an exhibition match. Both guys were past their prime. Tyson was 54, Jones was 51, but you could still see flashes of their greatness. Tyson definitely looked stronger. He was the aggressor, landing more punches, especially those signature body shots. In the end, it was called a split draw, but let's be real, most people felt Tyson had the upper hand. He landed 68 out of 193 punches, which doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to Jones, who only landed 37 out of 236, it's clear Tyson was more accurate and effective. Christy Martin even scored at 79-73 in Tyson's favor, but then Vinny Penza gave it 80-76 to Jones, which a lot of people thought was controversial. Chad Dawson had it as a draw. So yeah, even though the official result was a draw, it was pretty obvious who controlled most of the fight. As round 1 started off, Tyson came out swinging, aggressively doubling up on left jabs and targeting Jones's body. Jones relied on movement and clinching to disrupt Tyson's rhythm, but Tyson's aggression earned him the round. Pivotal task. The referee will have to really be on the ball. Mike Tyson expecting to come out as fast as possible. You see what Roy's doing, do that the whole time. Jones adjusted using lateral movement and landing a few jabs of his own. Tyson responded with a solid right hand, but Jones managed to tire Tyson by clinching frequently. The round was more competitive, but Jones edged it out. Boy, you ain't come in to play your money. Be time undefeated. These two way past their cries, but looking at the start of round 3, Tyson continued to pressure Jones, focusing on body shots and dominating inside the clinch. Jones tried to evade Tyson's attacks, but absorbed significant punishment. Tyson's body work started to wear Jones down. During the 4th round, Tyson hurt Jones early with strong body shots, forcing Jones to clinch to avoid further damage. Tyson controlled the round with consistent pressure and superior power, landing significantly more punches than Jones. Tyson landed a clean left hook, followed by more body shots. Jones was busier with his punches, but couldn't land anything significant. Tyson finished the round strong, asserting his dominance. Coming up on the midpoint around 5 and again rattling Roy Jones. Jones ducking down and just wants to close the gap, wants to clinch. Here is he, and Tyson wants to create some separation. Tyson continued to control the fight with power and aggression, moving Jones around the ring and landing heavy shots. Jones briefly switched to a southpaw stance and landed a decent left hand, but it wasn't enough to shift momentum in his favor. Jones showed signs of exhaustion by round 7, while Tyson maintained superior conditioning, landing shots to the body and head. Jones attempted a comeback with combinations, but Tyson absorbed them and kept control. Both fighters were visibly tired, and the round was less eventful. Jones tried switching stances again, but Tyson continued to control the pace with jabs and body shots. Jones mostly clinched to survive the final round despite the split draw decision. Tyson was satisfied with his performance, acknowledging the crowd's approval. Jones expressed disappointment with the draw, but hinted at a potential rematch. Tyson emphasized the humanitarian aspect of their fight, suggesting it was more meaningful than fighting for championships. It was an entertaining exhibition, showcasing Tyson's enduring power conditioning and body shots against Jones's defensive tactics.